This week on The Record, tug of war for control of the City Justice Center. We follow the money to a luxury beachfront home far from here. Sheriff Alfred Montgomery sues the city. How a judge could reshape the powers of his office and others for years to come. And who's jumping into the race to challenge Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. Coming up right now. Welcome to The Record. I'm Mark Maxwell. Why has St. Louis paid nearly $19 million over the last 2 years to a company registered to a luxury oceanside mansion in Florida? Here it is. It has a yacht parked out back. We'll show you video in just a moment. It appears to have an address linked to financial documents and contracts for medical services that are rendered much closer to home inside the City Justice Center. This week we push for answers to questions like who's behind this company? How did they win the city's business? Was that process fair and transparent? Just ask the family of Sam Hayes what's at stake here. He's the inmate who died strapped to a restraint chair waiting for medical help that never came. Jail officials have said in the past they're short on staff and warned of future riots or attacks if they don't get more manpower. That's where the St. Louis sheriff could come in one day. He's suing right now to escape the city's new rules that require him to transport sick inmates to and from their medical appointments. It's a move that could lighten the load on corrections staff inside the jail. The sheriff says he needs at least an extra $2 million a year and 30 more deputies to start that jail transportation unit. But if so many detainees are still being rushed to hospitals, what are taxpayers actually paying for with that contractor in the jail? In some ways, the sheriff's election was the start of a tug-of-war over who really controls that facility. After all, one of Alfred Montgomery's campaign pledges was to seize control of the jail and take over that responsibility from the mayor and the public safety department. The previous mayor, who endorsed him for election, didn't like that idea. At the center of that fight is a lot of taxpayer money and the safety of inmates who remain in custody right now waiting for their trial. According to court filings, in that wrongful death case of detainee Samuel Hayes, the city of St. Louis has already paid $18.7 million to a contractor. The company is based in Puerto Rico. It's called Physician Correctional USA, or PCUSA. On paper, the company's contracts say it pledges to provide medical, dental, and mental health care inside the facility. We've reached out to that company and its chief operating officer asking some of these questions. So far, we have not yet heard back. The court documents in the wrongful death lawsuit raise questions about that company's origins. Those documents say PCUSA was formed just 3 weeks before landing a no-bid contract with the city, a rather lucrative one. That was under the former mayor's administration years ago. Now, as city leaders clash with the sheriff over who's really responsible for transporting people to medical appointments outside the jail, the spotlight is now squarely on this contract in the jail and whether St. Louis taxpayers are truly getting what they pay for. On Wednesday, we went inside the Public Safety Department at City Hall for our first interview with Mayor Kara Spencer's Public Safety Director, former city police officer Sean Dace. From your perspective, who is ultimately responsible for getting detainees from inside the jail to life-saving medical appointments? Is it the city or the sheriff?
Oh, the sheriff's department.
Why is that?
Well, that's one of the functions of their responsibilities. I was a policeman for 35 years, and I've never known it not to be their function in the 35 years as a policeman.
They point to memorandums of understanding or agreements, basically, between past sheriffs and the mayor's office that was the basis for that, the way it always was. Mm-hmm. Is that your understanding, too?
Well, I don't know what the legal decision is. I guess that'll be yet to be determined. But again, it's been my past experience being involved in policing for over 35 years that it's always been a responsibility of the sheriff's department.
The sheriff's office and their lawyers, one of them including former Judge David Mason, have pointed to or they've raised questions about what's going on in the jail that requires so many inmates to be transported. Financial records show that in the last 2 years, taxpayers have paid $19 million roughly to this group, Physician Correctional USA. What are we getting for that money?
Well, I mean, the 5 or 6 months I've been here, they have proven to be professional and adequate in their duties. From what I believe, that this company has not. I'm not aware of how long they've been with been working with us. It's my recollection that they are a new vendor for us.
Yeah, in fact, I believe court documents suggest the company founded and opened, launched for business just weeks before inking a contract with the city that was in the last administration.
Mm-hmm.
If detainees are still being rushed to the hospital or medical appointments for care, is the company really delivering on its promises of service?
PC USA, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's been my experience that they are delivering. They are doing a good job. You got to remember, a lot of these detainees are there have medical conditions when they arrive at the Justice Center. So, a lot of the pre-existing conditions require them to go, to have to be frequently go to receive medical attention.
The sheriff and his lawyers wrote you a letter just the day before the Board of Aldermen passed a board bill ordering him to pick up and resume this transportation. They said, we'll do it if you give us 2 weeks' notice. Mm-hmm. How reasonable is that?
Well, I mean, it's reasonable if you got 2 weeks' notice if they have an appointment for with a doctor or a hospital 2 weeks. But quite frequently, we don't have that luxury. Quite frequently, we have emergency runs that need to be done right now, and which is what has always been the case, that the Sheriff's Department would do those transports.
Back to PC USA for a minute. The official business address for that contractor is a Florida mansion. Google Maps images show a yacht docked right out back. How do you think taxpayers will feel seeing that much money going to a company based at a place that looks like that?
Well, I mean, I can't speak to how they would feel. The only thing I can comment on is the service they have provided, and I've experienced them to provide.
Which is dental, mental, and other medical care?
Yeah. So, and it's been, again, it's been adequate to my knowledge.
When a detainee needs to see a doctor, who makes that call and who's responsible for actually getting them out the door and to their appointment?
Well, traditionally, the call has been made to 911 from PC USA, or the medical provider. We would then contact the Sheriff's Department, who would make who would do the transport.
So the company billing the city is also the company placing the call?
Yes, to 911.
What's the system right now for handling routine medical appointments, like those ones that might come with advance notice, versus the emergency, unexpected runs? Is there a different chain of command there?
Well, recently, again, we were advised by the Sheriff's Department if there is a 2-week notice that they would provide, and they've done that. But if it's under 2 weeks, then we're responsible. We've been responsible for it. Because the fact of the matter is, we are going to get those detainees to the hospital if they need to go.
Right. How are you doing that? The sheriff's not doing it. So in the interim, what have you been doing?
We've been doing it. It's been done by correction officers.
How many of the sheriff's deputies or the corrections officers are specifically trained to transport high-risk detainees to a medical facility?
I couldn't give you that number, but as far as the Sheriff's Department, I have no idea, and I couldn't give you a number for as far as the corrections officers.
It doesn't sound like you're evaluating or scrutinizing that contract or that vendor right now.
I am not at this point. I have had no evidence, definable evidence to say that they aren't doing their jobs.
We continue our conversation with Director Dace just after this, plus much more of our conversation with him up online, ksdk.com. You can also tune in to the free 5 Plus app for an extended episode of The Record tomorrow night. As Director of Public Safety, your office works with the Office of Violence Prevention.
Yes.
To try and prevent shootings from ever happening in the first place. What is the city doing well right now to reduce shootings, and where are we falling short?
Well, I think a lot of I think we focused a lot with Office of Violence Prevention with youth. And I think the more we can continue to work with the youth, I'd like to do more work with St. Louis Public Schools. But I think we're doing a really good job in regards to working with our youth so that they follow the right path to to success in their lives.
You oversee the building division too.
I do.
That's been quite a busy department ever since May 16 and the tornado that came through.
It has.
Two-part question. Do you have the number of inspectors that you need to do all that work? And 4 months on now, how do you assess the city's recovery?
Well, I mean, nobody could have expected what happened. I think the mayor's doing a good job, and more than anything, her energy and her enthusiasm has flourished throughout the city and all the departments. I think that the building division, the commissioner, Ed Ware, is very knowledgeable. He's got a lot of experience, and he's done a good job of weathering his group through the storm. We're also hiring in that division too. We are short a lot of building inspectors, but we are in the process of hiring.
You're probably aware that when the last mayor left and the new mayor came in, the FBI was investigating in the building division. Is there anything you can share with us today about the nature of that investigation? Has it concluded?
I cannot comment on that. To be honest with you, I've been focusing on, I have enough to focus on.
But you understand why there's significant public interest in something like that?
I do understand, but that's something that I have no, what the FBI does, I have no authority input. The only thing I can concentrate on is what's here and the employees we got here now, and making sure that whatever happened doesn't happen under my leadership.
I hear you. And just to put a pin in that, are you saying that you know the answer as to whether or not the investigation is ongoing and just can't say?
No, I don't know the answer.
You don't know?
I haven't even inquired about it. What I said was that I've been so busy concentrating on what I have in front of me now that I've not been contacted, and I have not made any inquiries.
I see. So any subpoenas would have likely come through your office, and you haven't seen those?
I cannot say whether they would or not, but I can tell you that I have not seen any.
You also oversee the city's fire department and the city emergency management agency. Quite the portfolio on your desk here. From this point forward, can you say you accept responsibility for how well the city's tornado sirens work?
I can tell you that I have to accept some responsibility. I sit in this seat. Could I have done more personally? I don't know. We have done a lot of within my division. We have done a lot of evaluation and making attempts to rectify some of the issues that came up.
There are very few people in the city who have the word safety on their door. The city sometimes gets a bad rap for safety. How would you rank the city of St. Louis nationwide in that department right now?
Well, I mean, I think there are a lot of factors that go into safety and what is required in regards to crime. I will tell you that, I live downtown. I feel safe. I think that there's an energy behind this new mayor, and I think that I would say that, again, I feel better today than I did 6 months ago. So even with the stress that we've had with the tornado and all the disaster that caused.
Coming up, he's back. Jimmy Kimmel returns to the airways after a presidential push to keep him off the air and public outcry to put him back on. This week, one for the record books, a historic moment in late-night TV offering a reminder in American civics. In this country, the public has more power than the president. Late-night comedian Jimmy Kimmel returned to the airwaves on ABC Tuesday night after the company initially faced immense pressure and then faced more pressure from the public to buck the president's wishes and the FCC threats to put him back on the air. Customers canceled subscriptions in droves. Politicians, including Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, called for the protests and public action that followed. ABC eventually put Kimmel back on, despite ABC affiliates owned by corporations Nexstar and Sinclair still opting to preempt him in 20% of the country. Kimmel started by thanking those who spoke up on his behalf and then apologized for what he said initially in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's murder.
I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset.
Issued a passionate defense of free speech and raised questions about the future of government regulation of that speech in an increasingly digital age.
Should the government be allowed to regulate which podcasts the cell phone companies and Wi-Fi providers are allowed to let you download to make sure they serve the public interest? Do you think that sounds crazy? No! 10 years ago, this sounded crazy. Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, telling an American company, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and that these companies can find ways to change conduct and take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead, in addition to being a direct violation of the First Amendment, is not a particularly intelligent threat to make in public.
President Trump posted his disapproval with ABC's decision and warned about other potential lawsuits against the network. After significant public interest in a controversial plan to build a data center at the old Armory site in Midtown, the developers backed off for now. Mayor Kara Spencer issued an executive order calling for a pause on data center projects in the city. The order requires developers to prove their data centers pose no risk to public safety in order to get a permit. The Board of Aldermen backed that move, passing Resolution 111. It was back in 2016, though, that the Board of Aldermen first surrendered its power over development projects in that part of town, giving it over to the Midtown Redevelopment Corporation. That maneuver now raises questions about how much leverage the city might have over this project going forward. Across the river in Illinois, Darren Bailey is running for governor. Bailey and his running mate, Aaron Del Mar, launched their campaign Wednesday with 3 events across the state in Carterville, Bloomington, and Oak Brook. Together, they plan to, quote, take back Illinois. Joining them, former banker Ted Dabrowski, Sheriff James Mendrick, and businessman Joseph Severino, all running for the Republican nomination. Coming up, trouble in the medicine cabinet. The Trump cabinet claims Tylenol is dangerous for pregnant women and babies, but what do doctors say? We check with experts next.
Don't take it. If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol.
Maybe you heard the president this week warning pregnant moms about a common household item, an over-the-counter painkiller found in most medicine cabinets. President Trump and his federal government are now ordering new warning labels on Tylenol, claiming a link to autism. So let's check the record. Dr. Sarah Rodriguez calls the president's public statements, quote, dangerous, telling USA Today the claim that Tylenol causes autism has been shown to be false by actual scientific research. And autism is a very complex neurodevelopmental condition. Genetics are known to play a very large role, she said, and environmental factors are believed to interact with genetic predispositions. She says omitting that complexity misleads policy, funding, and medical care. Doctors and health policy experts at WashU also gave similar rebuttals to the government's decree.
And we know, quite frankly, not treating pain, not treating inflammation, not treating maternal infections, things like that, those all can actually increase your risk of developing neurodevelopmental disorders, including autism themselves.
We know now, like with almost 100% certainty, that my son has a gene deletion. That's why he's autistic. It had nothing to do with MMR or vaccine or acetaminophen or anything like that.
Voices was Dr. Gregory Sejas at WashU's Autism Clinic. He's the center's medical director there. He cited a highly regarded medical study published in Sweden last year. Experts there studied about 2.5 million kids. They found no link or any increased risk linking acetaminophen to neurodevelopmental disorders. Another local politician just happens to be a doctor who specializes in pharmaceuticals and how the human body responds to them. St. Louis County Executive Dr. Sam Page.
It's completely inconsistent with available science. If you are pregnant or have a small child who is sick, talk to your pediatrician about what medicine is appropriate, what treatment is appropriate, what diagnostic interventions are appropriate. But there is no available evidence of any significance that is compelling to indicate that Tylenol should be linked with autism.
And that's all of our time this time. Next week, State Senator Brian Williams, a Democrat challenging Sam Page for county executive, will be here with us on the record. Until then, we're off the record.